welcome back to Lockbox Lunatics. I'm Chad Kamp with Exit Realty Coannah down here in the Phoenix metropolitan area with my cohort in crime, Steve Lambert, out of the Tri-Cities, Washington area. Say hello, Steve.
Hello. Hello, hello. Say hello, Steve. Hello.
Hello, Steve.
How's it going, Chad? Did you blow away with the
Doing good. Yeah, no, we survived the dust storms. They came. We had one last night. We actually last night wasn't near as dusty of a dust storm as we had probably last week. Last week it was all dust and no rain, and then last night down here in Queen Creek, anyway, we got a lot of rain. So the funny thing is us Arizonans, what do we do when it's raining, pouring out? We grab our dinner and we take it out on the back patio and we eat so we can watch the rain. It
Oh
dropped.
yeah, because it's like something that's novel. It's kind of
Oh,
exciting.
yeah. Yeah, and the weather cooled down to 95, so it was gorgeous on the back patio. What?
Very nice, very nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's enjoyable at night. It's kind of fun to be able to do that, right? Go outside and watch a storm happen, right? That's pretty
Oh
cool.
yeah.
It's kind of an
Yeah.
exciting thing. I think that's a neat thing anyways. Um,
Yeah, and it's a novelty down here, so when it does
oh
happen,
yeah.
you'll get excited and you'll start seeing videos. Hey, look, it's raining at my house.
I saw the videos of all these big gigantic clouds coming in. It reminded me of what were those movies? The movies like Indiana Jones or something when the
Right.
huge sand things are coming
The
in,
mummy.
everybody's running for cover and all that.
Yeah, you
And
remember the mummy with the face in the dust?
yes,
Yeah.
yes, that's what I was. Yes, the Mummy. That's the one. That's the one.
Right.
Do you ever get anything like that happening in the sandstorms? Any mummies coming out?
No, I haven't seen any yet.
Kind of
I'm so
interesting.
disappointed.
That would that would be disappointing. That would be
Yeah,
disappointing.
with
Uh,
all the pests that comes with it.
yeah, we didn't have anything that exciting. We did have some rain this morning, which I know we're in Washington, so everybody goes, "Well, you're supposed to get rain. You get a ton of rain." We actually don't. We're on the eastern side of the state. We get very little rain. So we got a little bit of rain this morning, and it'll kind of do the same thing. Our area likes to do this. You wash your car.
Hmm.
And what it'll do is it'll rain within a day or two because you don't dare wash your car. And then as soon as the rain stops, our wind kicks up so that it gets you just enough so that as your car's wet, it coats it with a nice bunch of dust and makes it look
Plasters it.
totally bad. And then you have to go wash it and then it happens all over again. No, we've been on a pretty good run. It's been pretty warm here. I think we were be about 100, today.
Oh
Was out
wow.
last night. It was enjoyable 90 degrees out last night around 8 o'clock. Had a little glass of wine. Was enjoying the outdoors, and so that was kind of nice. So we're big wine country up here. I don't know if people know that. On the eastern side of the state, we're high desert. So think of kind of what your area looks like. We're probably more like Las Vegas-y a little bit, less. We have some greenery. We don't have a lot of trees. It's very desert here, which people don't expect. We just get a little bit more, well, a lot colder in the winter, but it is wintry though. Um,
Yeah, I can imagine, have you been to Sonoyta, south of Tucson?
I have not, no.
Okay, so they've got a lot of vineyards down there in Sonoyta. It's
Oh,
a
really?
nice rolling hills, just different terrain. We've got some wineries up in the Prescott, Sedona area.
Well, I
Is
know the wine country's been growing down there. I know there's a couple wineries here that are maybe looking to expand in the Arizona market because the wine industry is all kind of messed up right now. It's in a trough for sure, but yeah, we have a bunch of wineries here, and so I will have to visit the Arizona wine country. I have not done that. That'd be kind of fun actually. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
definitely.
so you and I were talking a little bit before we jumped on the call here or our podcast here about kind of the state of the market and some things that we're seeing that are changing. And you said you didn't run over, you ran across something unusual this weekend that you hadn't seen for a little bit. And
Right.
we're going to try and figure out because I'm definitely seeing an uptick in showings with all of our listings across the brokerage. I mean, things are selling either pretty fast now or they're getting shown a lot more. And activity level is definitely kicked up. So what did you see this weekend that you said was out? Because you were out showing houses, in which case by the way, I gave him a really snide remark. I said, congratulations, good for you.
I'm still waiting for my sticker, Steve.
but you were
Definitely
showing
need a lollipop or something for doing that.
yeah, stickers in the mail. So for so what? But when you were out showing houses, you said you saw something that you hadn't seen for a while. What was that?
Right. So people, believe it or not, so we,
Don't see a lot of people anymore.
seeing people.
It's lonely life being an agent these days.
It is. No, so, as we're out showing properties, viewing properties, when the market is a little busier, you'll see other agents and other buyers going through properties. And I hadn't seen that for a while. I mean, I would run into the occasional other party looking in the house at about the same time frame.
Yeah,
Every single house, we were either coming in behind another showing or we were in front of another showing. So that tells me that buyers are starting to at least get off the fence a little more, getting out and starting to see what's available. The market, whenever interest rates, we've seen a softening of interest rates. Whenever
yeah.
those interest rates starting to soften, excuse me, you'll see that buyers start getting off the fence, and you'll see a
It's
little more.
true, right? I think that I think people just feel like because of them talking about in September being kind of like the magic time frame, right? That rates are going to lower. Which means if you're shopping for a house now and you don't need to rate lock, like if you like we're at 26, so if you get a house under contract here, your chances are wherever your rates are right now, if you haven't locked, they're going to drop most likely, or so it's a good time to shop because you can beat the rush a little bit because there will be a bit of a rush as soon as rates adjust. We always see buyers come jumping out of the woodwork on that. And I think you are going to see a lot of that. Inventory is good right now. Have you seen sellers in your area pull back? Because I know we have a couple of listings, here and there. Well, not a couple more than a couple, but a lot of them have withdrawn because they're not happy with what the market's doing. So they're kind of waiting for things to get a little bit better. Are you seeing that? Or are you still seeing an increase in your inventory down there?
No, we're seeing a withdrawal of inventory. At
Mm.
one point in time, we were close to a little over 30,000 homes on the market. Looking at the market today, just the actives, about 24,000. The nice little the difference between the actives and the pendings, there's about 10,000 homes under contract. So
Oh, wow.
there's ultimately about 34,000 homes that are available to be purchased. 10 of which are spoken for. So whenever I say active, I'm just looking at the ones that are, not currently under contract.
Yeah, things you can actually go and put an offer in on. Do you have a
Right.
lot of how is it with, one thing that we've been seeing a lot of with our homes because we have a lot under contract as well. We have about 674, so much smaller market than yours out of a total of about 1,450 homes available. So quite a few, are under contract. And so what we are seeing though is a lot of contingent offers, which is very common in our area because it's a much tighter market, but people do not want to sell their house and make themselves homeless. They want to so contingent offers have gone through the roof, which is, hey, I'm going to make an offer on your home, but I got to sell mine first before I move into yours. Where we hadn't seen that when the market was hot, contingent offers were not a thing. You bought it or you didn't kind of thing. Are you seeing an increase in contingent offers in your area?
We are. As a matter of fact, I got this house under, I've got those buyers under contract this weekend with a contingency.
Hmm.
And so, and the funny thing is they're selling from out in Bullhead City. They're making the move. They've got their house under contract already, which is nice. But they also have liquidity. They have funds available to pay cash for the purchase down here. They just want to move that equity from Bullhead City and get it back down here into the valley. Um,
Yeah.
that is something that we see. One thing that I think that I would love lenders to get back into is the second mortgages as well. For probably the last 2 years, 3 years, whenever we saw the interest rates go higher, increase, I started reaching out to lenders saying, "Hey, do you have any programs for a second mortgage?" If back in the day, back in the 90s, early 2000s, you can purchase a home with a first and a second mortgage, right?
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
so a lot of those loan programs for that second mortgages are gone. And with the ability to be able to purchase a house with a second mortgage, that would help along with the lines of the assumable rates, right? So there's a lot
Right.
of
Yeah.
people that have the assumable or
Yep.
that have assumable loan programs, but they've got too much equity to where a buyer coming in just doesn't have the funds to fill the gap between assuming that loan and the purchase price. And so that's one thing I'm hoping that lenders will start offering again is, you know, the second mortgages. So then someone can come in and assume a 3% interest rate, a 4% interest rate,
Right? Yeah.
and then come in on the back end with a second mortgage with a higher interest rate, and then focus on paying that second mortgage off a little bit faster, or allowing rates to do whatever they're going to do, and then do another refinance on that.
Exactly. Exactly. Is it common when you're showing houses in your area for them to take their shoes off or have to wear booties?
You know, I'm starting to see that a lot more often, a little more frequent. Uh,
Okay.
you know,
So
the thing that concerns me is if, you know, depending on the type of flooring that you've got, someone gets in there and they slide and slip and fall, right?
do you recommend booties or socks?
Oh, I recommend socks.
Do you see a lot of people with holes in their socks?
Do I see? I'm too busy covering mine up, Steve.
I always try. So I have a thing where I have quite the collection of random socks. And what I mean by that is not mismatched. I try and find like dress socks or things that just have random little sayings on them or stupid designs or
Oh,
something.
okay.
Because my one of the things is at least if I'm going to show a house and they want booties and I'm going to walk around in my socks, I want my socks to be kind of fun anyways. But it is interesting. But I've seen some pretty big holes in socks before, and it's always surprised me because I'm like, that can't be comfortable when you're walking around, and we're looking at houses and you got your big toes sticking out or something. I'm like, let's put booties on. Sorry, I'm just going down a path of just kind of, of showing etiquette. The other one is let me ask you this. If you have a client that has to use the bathroom, do they use the toilet? Do they use the bathroom in the house, or do you make them wait?
Most times I'll let them use the toilet.
How bad has that backfired on you before?
Unfortunately, not unfortunately, but fortunately, it has not.
Hmm.
I always say first thing first, make sure the water is on, right?
Right.
If the water's not turned on, but it really depends on the person as well. So you know, realist, no, seriously. So if and I'm so sexist, I'm
I
sorry.
no, I just have a horror story. That's all for
Oh,
you.
okay. Yeah. Oh, I'm sure you do. Yeah, no, the thing is, you know, if someone walks through your door and you're showing the house,
Hmm.
if you invited a guest into your home, would you let them use a bathroom?
Sure.
Okay. So when you have someone coming through your home to purchase it,
Yeah. No, I get it. I get it. I had a listing, had an open house, and this walkout basement, and the people left rather quickly. Their kids were running all around, and I
oh,
found out why. I went downstairs. Not only did that kid load that toilet up, but he pretty much put the entire roll of toilet paper in there, and this thing was sitting about a quarter of an inch from the top.
oh wow.
People had left the house. It was vacant. There's nothing in there. I have no way. I'm trying to shut this place down. There's showings scheduled by other agents for that afternoon, and I have no way to clean this out. This was about 3 or 4 months ago. I have no way to clean this thing out. And I'm not like, and I've got showings coming up literally within a half an hour, and I'm like, this is just not, not a good look. It's a crappy look, right?
It
No pun
is.
intended. So I'm rifling through the garage trying to find anything. They have pool supplies because they have a pool. I'm like, well, I can't, there's nothing for me there. I literally went and found a piece of, drywall edge, like drywall edging for the
Mhm.
corners. It's pretty stiff.
Right.
So but it's made of plastic. So I find one about 3 feet long and I put a little curvy on the end. I'm sitting there jamming this thing down the toilet like as fast as I can. And it's starting to go down. I'm like, success, right? So the water's off at this point. So I get it to where it's empty. I turn the water on, I flush it one time because I figure that's not enough to overflow it. Sucker comes almost all the way up to the top again. I'm like, oh gosh, I turn it off. So I'm sitting here for like 10 to 15 minutes with this piece of plastic jamming. I finally got it to unclog and actually flush with that piece of plastic. One of the one of the most random things, and I was sitting there going like, "Wow, did not expect this."
Yeah.
Made me possibly rethink if I was like gonna let somebody use the toilet. Now,
Well, I think it's wise that if you have children, that someone supervise
that
with
was fully unsupervised, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Which is kind of funny because just last weekend we had the grandkids over, and so I hear, Pappy, I need, you know, some toilet paper. So I go run in to get some toilet paper, and I come back in, and as I'm getting toilet paper, I hear, never mind, we found some. Well, then that struck terror in my heart because that meant that there's a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old in the bathroom because
Oh
it
yeah.
was We found it. And so I open the door and I look and I don't and the 4-year-old's coming out saying, "Oh, we're done, we're done, Pappy. We did it. I went potty." And like, "Oh, okay, good. Where's that roll of toilet paper at that you found?" And they're like, "I don't know. Where is it?" And I'm like, "Dear Lord, please tell me that they didn't shove it all into the toilet." And I looked for it and I looked for it. And the 2-year-old was standing by the toilet with her hand on the lever,
Oh
just
gosh.
hanging on, just pushing it down. So nothing was flushing because there was no water left. Long story short, somehow the toilet paper, the new roll that they found actually went behind the door. And when I
Oh,
walk in, I open the door up and it's behind the door and I'm looking for toilet paper.
you're
So
like, oh gosh, that's funny.
yeah, yeah.
That's
But no,
funny.
probably something that we need to have in because I honestly I always carry toilet paper in the truck in my
Well,
vehicle.
that's that's
I
interesting.
do.
The way you drive, which I fully endorse, by the way, I can understand why you have toilet paper, probably for your passengers. I like how the way Pappy drives. I'm going to call you Pappy from now on. I like the way Pappy drives because he's very focused on A to B and getting there expeditiously, and I appreciate that tremendously.
Well, there are things that need to get done, all right?
100%. No, 100%. Well, I think that's interesting because you talk about, see, maybe open house etiquette, maybe you don't leave a full row. Maybe you just leave rolls on there that are so small that there's no way to clog the toilet so that somebody has to go. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think maybe that's so there you go. So listing agents, when you have your open house, maybe go ahead and put a very small amount of toilet paper on the roll
Right.
on the holder instead of a full. So you don't have to deal with these types of things. We may have just saved potentially somebody getting ready to have an open house a lot of heartache right there.
Oh, we did. We're awesome. I
You
tell
know
you what,
what? You know,
we're
when it
so
comes
forward
to us
thinking.
delivering on helping people out, I think I'd like to say we're at a very high level.
Oh, we've got to be up there.
I
Yeah.
think we bring a tremendous amount of value to just not only real estate, but to everyday living,
Everyday life occurrences.
everyday life occurrences.
And make sure the plunger is in there on your open houses as well.
Yes,
Because
yeah.
nothing
It
is
is
worth
great to have that because people always want to talk about what rates, which we talked about that they are softening up, but they always want to know, can I afford this house? What is it going to look like? We're not lenders. I don't pretend to answer those questions. I can give very big generalizations, and then I'm going to refer them to somebody that can actually do that. So that's
and we want to make sure that when they buy the house, they have enough funds to be able to purchase the proper amount of toilet paper and plungers.
exactly right, right.
What
People
we
don't
call being well-rounded in the real estate spectrum.
exactly. Well, it's funny because people often, do you get this? You get somebody comes in, they're talking to you, and one of the first questions I do ask people, or my top five, is have you spoken with a lender? And I'm not doing that because I'm trying to be rude
All
or
right.
pry, but I do want to know, are we going on a wild goose chase? Because one, if I'm going to take time to represent you and spend time out of my day to go do something, are we just going out on a joyride? Or we actually, or can you afford the homes that we're looking at? And the second part is, I've seen people so many times fall in love with a house, call us,
Mhm.
say, "Hey, Steve, I want to get into this house." They fall in love with it, and and then they've talked to a lender after the fact, and there's no way they can even come close to affording it.
Right.
It's big disappointment because then when we get into what they can afford or where their budget is, they're bummed out or they don't even want to go look. And that's I hate to be a part of that process. If somebody's got their heart set on something and then they find out it's, $700 a month more than what they can afford based upon where their down payment is or this and that. So
Yeah, or
I
their
think that's
credit.
why we always encourage people to talk to a lender. It's if you're ever wondering why your agent asked that, they're not trying to be rude or pry. They actually want to know, one, can you afford, because they are taking time out of their day. Because let's face it, this is what we do for a living. I don't just ferry people around all day for fun and have paychecks magically rain from the sky on that. They do want to know that you can afford the home, and two, we want to make sure that we're showing you houses that are appropriate for your budget, so you're not getting sticker shock, really.
Right. And realistically, what happens whenever they go into a house that, they fall in love with and they can't afford? Now, every single home they walk into, they're comparing to that other home. And so
Exactly.
it's really a disservice to them because part of what we're to do is to help manage emotions, right?
Yeah.
Manage the process. And so whenever we know that that's such a big obstacle for individuals to overcome with regards to having improper idea of what they want, what they can afford, you
Yeah.
know, expectations, having bad expectations. We're to help set those expectations.
Oh,
So
exactly.
not
Yeah.
only are we asking, hey, look, are you qualified? Have you been pre-qualified? Because there are so many components to that. You've got your down payment. Do you have money for your security deposit or not your earnest deposit? Do you have money for, your home inspection? Do you have money for the appraisal? Right.
Mhm.
And so typically whenever we ask, or you speak with a lender, the lender is going to also come in behind us as well and make sure that some of those components are taking place. Because if you've not spoken with a lender, now we know where we need to start with. Okay, hey, look, this is the funds that you can expect to have within the first 7 to 10 days ago, or first 2 days to ten
Yeah.
days going in the contract. And sometimes when folks aren't ready for that,
Oh,
yes, yeah,
catches them totally off guard. And then
yeah,
and we don't want to be the bad guy on that. Kind of like, we got to, it's like you're setting the expectations. Like people watching our podcast would be really disappointed when they watch Joe Rogan because we're setting the expectations so high.
right.
And that's the thing. I think you see quality quality
So
product
you
with the
definitely can't go. You definitely can't go watch Joe Rogan after this. Yeah,
no.
you're gonna be
Joe
severely
Rogan's not going to chop the Pappy and Steve show. Come
Oh
on now.
no, no.
There's no way. There's no way. We're
Yeah,
gonna have a guest on, I think, next time, aren't we? I think
yeah.
we're
Hopefully,
I'm trying
hopefully
to
we'll
get a
have a guest.
lender person on. She was unavailable last time, and today she's MIA a little bit, but I know it's because she's busy with loans. It's not an indication of her business, but we're gonna have her on the next time we do something. So,
Right. No, I look forward to it. Look forward to
all right,
it.
man. Well, you know what? I think we've 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 used our time up here today.
I think we want to be considerate of folks. I know we got a little silly there in the middle.
I
Uh,
like it though. It's kind of fun. I think we need a little levity every now and then. People
oh
have
yeah,
to not laugh about. They've got to laugh about something.
right. And really, honestly, let's be honest. It's real life situation, real life
It
stuff.
is. It is. It is
Right?
for sure.
And
Yeah.
every single one of
Don't
us
let
is
your
gonna
kids
have
poop in the toilet and load it up with toilet paper. That's all we're
That's
saying.
right. Yeah, it's never any fun for anybody. So anyway, well, hey, we appreciate you taking the time to watch our episode. If you hit the like button and follow, if you have any suggestions on proper material or proper materials to flush down a toilet, put those in the comments. Right? If you have any suggestions on topics for future shows, we definitely want to hear that as well. So appreciate your time. You guys have a good week, and we'll catch you next Friday.
Sounds good. Awesome. Thank you, Chad.